Now, you want to insert a visual based on your pivot table, the data in your pivot table. How do you do that? After analyzing your data, okay, and you have the pivot table you want to pull up a visual for. Let's say this pivot table, we have the total sales by product category. You need to click on the pivot table, just like I have selected this pivot table now, and click on the pivot table, and then you come to pivot table analyze. Pivot table analyze. Then you come to where you have pivot charts. You're going to click on pivot charts, and from this drop down, I have various charts I can select from. Now, take note that when you are selecting charts, okay,
endeavor to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.
when you are looking at a category data against a quantitative data, you make use of bar charts, column charts, or pie charts. Now, you use pie charts if the categories are not much. Currently, if you look at these categories, they are much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 9 of them. Okay. So if you have like 9 categories like this, avoid using pie charts. The best you would use is a bar or a column chart. But if they are like 4, you can use pie charts. 4 and below. Okay. Because you don't want to have whoever it is that is viewing always looking at color to look at the slides, color to look at the slides, color to look at the slides, color to look at the slides. Before I know which color, I have to be looking for the color on this place. All right. That's the reason why. Number 2 is you have normal charts and you have what is known as 3D charts. This is a 3D chart. You can see it says 3D pie, this second one here. On your column chart as well, you have 3D charts. You have a column chart, clustered column, you have stacked column, you have 100% stacked column, then you have 3D clustered column. Avoid anything 3D. Why? Because depending on the angle you are viewing it from, it tends to tell the wrong story. Because it's 3D, at times, where it's supposed to look as if it's on line 150, it will look as if it's on close to line 160. Okay, so we usually avoid 3D charts for that reason. Now, number 2, this other chart, 100% stacked column. You use it when you're working with percentages and you want to look at what's it called? How 2 categories differ. But most times, just avoid this chart. Okay, you won't be able to make use of this chart unless I introduce it to some other aspect of analysis. Okay, but you'll be more used to it will be better for you to make use of the stacked column charts or the clustered column charts. Oh, sorry, clustered and stacked. Okay, then for bar charts, clustered and stacked as well. These two. For pie charts, just this first one, or you use the donut charts. Now, the donut charts is simply a chart that it's just like the pie charts. The only difference about the donut chart is that you have a hole in the middle. That's all. That's all. Okay. Now, currently, so if I insert, let's work with bar charts. Okay. Let's work with bar charts. This one. And click OK. So you can see that on this bar chart, it's showing me the total profit profit margin, total sales on this bar chart. Okay, this is not something that should be done as a data analyst. Having your sales, profit margin all together represented as bars on a chart. Okay, if you want to look at total sales, look at total sales. If you want to look at total profit, look at total profit. If you want to look at profit margin, look at profit margin. Okay, so what we're going to do is after inserting the chart like this, where I have values, okay, because once your chart is selected, you will have what is it called? Pivots chart fields. So under the values, I'm going to take out total profits and I'll take out total margin, profit margin. So it also affects your pivot table, which is fine. Remember, you have already used your pivot table to do analysis, and whatever you know you will not be visualizing, you're already taking cognizance of it. You've noted it down if you need to put it in writing. Okay. So you have a visual like this showing you the total sales for each product category. Okay. So how else do we now tweak this visual? How do we now tweak the visual? So there's something known as clean visual. Clean visual. Okay. And we make visual cleans by removing any distractions on the visual. For instance, this category, this total sales up here, I don't need them. I only need a title for the visual telling me sales by category or total sales by category. So this thing here, this thing here, this thing here, this total, this category, this total sales up here, I don't need them. So what I would do is right click for this one, either this category or this total sales, they are buttons. Okay. What you do is right click any one of them and click hide all field buttons on charts. Okay. Hide all field buttons on charts. So I'll click on it and you see that those two buttons disappear. Now the visual looks bigger and sweeter, isn't it? Then this that is telling me total is color blue. I don't need you to tell me total is color blue because the title of the chart is already going to tell me that, oh, this is total sales by category. So this total that is color blue is a legend. So what I will do is I can remove it in two ways. Come to this plus icon here, click on the plus icon and tick off legend. See where you have legend, tick it off. But this is a legend, so tick it off and it disappears. Or if you want to remove it faster, how I usually do it is I'll just click on that total. Once you click on it, it gets selected like this, and I'll press delete on my keyboard. So, but you can return it by pressing this plus icon and ticking it on back if you choose. Okay. Now, my chart is looking much better, isn't it? Another thing I'll do now is I'm going to rename the chart. I'll call this total sales by category. So inside where I have this total, this is a chart title. Okay. So inside there, I'll change what I have there to total sales by category or by products category. Okay. Total sales by products category. So have you all renamed it? So we have renamed it currently. Okay. And now the chart looks meaningful. total sales by product category, I can see that, okay, these are the product category, and I have the bars. So each bar is denoting the length, the magnitude of sales. Okay. So you see on your x-axis, this is your x-axis. Okay. Any axis you have at the bottom is your x-axis. The one you have on the left plane like this is your right axis, y-axis. Okay. So now I have my sales down here because this is a bar chart. Now, it's showing me total sales by product category, but don't you think it would be better for me to have it in descending order? I mean, this one will come first, then followed by furniture, then technology, instead of having it in ascending order like this. Thank you very much for that category. So what do you think regarding the order? So I think it's better if I have from top to bottom, so from highest to lowest. Office supplies first, then furniture, then technology, like that, to work with the sorting. So if I want to sort what you have on your visual, now you need to know that your visual is only showing what you have in your pivot table. Okay, your visual here is only showing what you have on your pivot table. Okay, so if you want to make changes to values that is showing on your pivot table, you make the changes to the that is showing on your pivot chart, you make the changes to your pivot table. So what I will do in order to sort this is I'll come here to my pivot table that it is connected to, and I will sort it. Currently, this pivot table is showing in descending order, largest to smallest. So when your pivot table is showing largest to smallest, your pivot chart will show smallest to largest. So I will reverse the order here, and I will show from smallest to largest so that the pivot chart will show largest to smallest. So let's do that quickly. Sort from smallest to largest. And I see automatically my pivot chart changes. So I have the total sales by product category. Now it's making more sense, isn't it? But then, are you interested in working with the values? For instance, you want to see each value, the sales for office supply, the sales for furniture. Okay, you want to see the actual value. For instance, now, if I'm looking at this, I know that, oh, office supply is making the highest sales. And from the length of the bar, if I cross-reference it with this x-axis, I can say that, oh, the office supply is making somewhere between 1.2 to 1.6 million, definitely. Okay, but I cannot say the exact figure. Now, we can include the exact figures for each one of these bars by simply clicking on the chart, click on this plus icon, and then we'll select data labels. Data labels. Do you see that? So tick data labels. Good. And then you see that each value now have their data labels there. Do you see that? Each one of the bars now has its own data label. Okay. So if each one of the bar is having its own data label, I can easily see that office supply is definitely 1.4. So I don't need this value down here telling me the range again. So I will remove this axis down here. Remember, I said this is the x-axis or horizontal. This is the horizontal axis. So I can remove it in two ways. Click on it. It gets selected like this. and I'll press my delete key on my keyboard. Or you come to your plus icon where you have axis. You click on this arrow and you turn off primary horizontal. You can see it's currently turned off. If I turn it on, it comes back. But if I turn it off, it goes away. But I need to know the names of each bar, because if I turn off primary vertical, how will I know that the first one is office supplies? So that is very necessary. So I'm going to leave that one turned on while proceeding. Now, these lines that are showing, I don't need them again as well. These are grid lines. So I'm going to tick off grid lines from here. I'll tick it off. Boom. And you see that the grid lines disappear. So you can see what I'm referring to as clean visual. Clean visual. So now let us look at working with colors and formatting text. Working with colors and formatting text. Now, any text you want to format in your visual belongs to a particular category. What do I mean? Now, let's say I want to increase the size of anti-malaria, or what I have here. All these texts are on the vertical axis. So if I select any one of these texts here, it will automatically select everything. You can see this line that comes around it. It tells me that, oh, this entire axis is selected. So you can format it as you want by coming up here. I like using the format that is above here. Okay. So you can make it bold. You see that it becomes bold when I click bold. You can make it italics if you want. You see that it becomes italics. You can underline it if you want as well. Do you see that? You can change the font color if you want. Let's say I change the color, font color to black. Do you see that? Okay. And if I want to increase the size, you can increase the size as well. If you want to reduce it, you can reduce it as well. And we've worked on that. Do you see that? What if I wanted to work on the data labels, these values? If I say, they can't see it very well, oh, let's make it bold. All you need to do is select one of the values. Now take notes. Remember I said they each belong to a category. So this value belongs to the category of data labels. So whenever you select a value, if you select just that value, 1, all the data labels get selected. Do you see that? But if you select that value again, only that data label is now selected. So it deselects the remaining one and selects only that one. So you can format only that data label if that is what you want. Oh, you want to increase the size of this one to the highest. Only that one will be increasing. Do you see? Well, let me return it to the normal size. Okay. So if I click outside, if I select again, anyone, all of them get selected. So as all of them is selected like this, I can work on them together. So I will click bold to make it bold. Nice. That's all I want. So now the bars, these bars color are nice. Okay. Whenever you're working with a bar chart or column chart, okay, a uniform color is fine. You can add one color to the highest bar for emphasis. Okay, we call it laying emphasis on a visual. All right, but the length of this bar is already so long. Now you don't need any emphasis to be laid again. But assuming it is something from this furniture down, you can lay an emphasis on the furniture visual. Okay, so if I want to change the color of your bars, what do? The same way you have been working. Select the bar. If you select the first time, all the bars get selected, everything, because it belongs to the bars category. So you can change the color by coming to the fill. You feel the shape. It's a rectangle shape, so you feel it. Okay, you fill it with a particular color. So if I click this drop down, and let's say I fill with another color, do you see that? You can see how the color is changing. Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay. So let's say I select this color. Nice. All right. And then I want to lay emphasis on the first visual. So I want to change the color for the first one alone. I will need to select that line, that bar again, so that it will deselect the remaining ones. When I select that bar again, every other thing gets unchecked or deselected. Only this one is selected now. So I can go ahead and change its own color if I want. Do you see that? Can you see? And then if you want your title as well, once you click on title, once it's selected like this, you can make it bold. You can increase the size if you want. You can change the color if you want. Let me change the color. Change the color, underline it if you want. You can drag it around. If you want to place it in the corner, drag it, place it in the corner, and you have this. Do you see that? And you are done with your visual. Total sales by category. So this is how you'd share with the stakeholders if you want to present. You won't be showing them your pivot tables. No. Okay. So you collect the data. So you will show them using visualize like this. That, oh, look, oh, it is these top guys that are bringing in the highest sales. Okay, even though we have 3,850 small earning customers, it is this big earning customer, this 150, that is bringing this highest sales. You understand? So it's visuals like this that you'll be using to show them.
Endeavor to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you. See you in our next class.